hello.
Hi.
Buife, it's so awesome to have you. Hi.
So good to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Oh my goodness. Today's such an exciting day. Wow. Okay, so welcome, inspirational women. I mean, today, our conversation is themed Working Women Know Your Worth. And my guest speaker is Buife Nomeh, and she's bringing her expertise in presentation skills to help us become more conscious about, knowing and projecting our worth as women. And I know this is one of the challenges that we women face, in the space, in the workspace, even in our businesses, right? So before we dig in, as is our culture in the League of Inspirational Women, I would like to share a little bit of, of Buife, okay? So Buife Nomeh is a confidence and presentation skills coach. She helps forward-thinking personal brands increase their impact and income by teaching them to speak, network, and lead with confidence. She's a compare and a training consultant at Panache Image Consults, a firm that provides public relations and image consulting services to career professionals, business executives, and companies. Buife has spoken to and trained over 20,000 graduates, professionals, students, and corporate organizations in the past 2 years alone. She often speaks on topics covering public speaking, personal branding, leadership, business communication, and etiquette, career development, and there's so much more. And today, we're going to be talking about knowing your worth, okay? Yeah, so it's amazing to have her on this show. So, Buife, is there anything else you want to add before I move on to all the questions?
Thank you so much. I really love being here.
Thank you. So, do you have anything else to add, or should I just go on?
I think that would do for now.
Okay, awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I'm quite passionate about this topic, working women know your worth, because I struggled for I struggled for very long with coming to an awareness of my own worth, and even projecting it in situations that called for it. Like during salary negotiations and even during meetings, I would just settle for what I was given, right? Or probably shrink, from speaking. And then I would be so upset, when I learned during those taboo, in organizations, there's always a taboo to talk about your salary, right? You're like, don't discuss your salary and everything. You have to sign all those confidential, but I mean, there's no how. People would talk, right? And, I would be so upset, when I hear that, someone on my level or even lower than than I was earning more than I was, And I know that loads of women face this same struggle every single day. And I've come to realize that it might be a mindset or a mind state influence that allows us to settle or allows us or makes us not, reach for, what is our worth, So what do you suppose is the root cause of this?
Thank you so much. So, like you rightly pointed out, it is primarily a mindset issue. It's primarily about how us as women see ourselves.
Yeah.
Right here. When we were born and in the environment that we grew up, one of the things that we were taught is that for some of us, we were not actively taught, but we just learned this by the conditioning that was around the environment that we grew up in. And we learned that the woman's place is in the kitchen. We learned that the woman always have a provider somewhere. It's either the father, the mom, or the boyfriend, or the husband, but the woman always have a provider. And then we also learned that the woman shouldn't speak up when she has a view. I remember in secondary school, my principal, she was a woman actually. I know that she didn't quite mean it literally, but one of the things she would always tell us when we make noise, you know, as secondary school students, we would always make noise, and she would always say that it was an all girls school, and she would always say, girls, women are supposed to be seen, not heard. Women are
Wow.
supposed to be not heard.
Even a woman says that.
Yeah, she comes from an angle of not making noise, right? But you can imagine words are powerful, and words like this can just go into the mind of a young girl and say to the young girl, you're not supposed to be heard. You're not supposed to be heard. You're not supposed to be heard. So at the workplace, and literally like everywhere that women go, or most women go in any relationship that we find ourselves, we struggle to speak up. We struggle to just share our opinions because we feel that it is not our place to speak up. It is not our place to air our opinions, except maybe when we are called to do so. And even when we are called to do so, there are certain things that we shouldn't really share about us and about how good we are, because then it becomes a case of pomposity and arrogance. And so we don't want to be seen as arrogant. We want to be seen as that homely, amiable, sweet woman, right? So that is one of it. Is basically a mindset issue. And then secondly, even when we are good at what we do, we also struggle to share that, because I think that is all that the cause of that also has to do with our inability to see how good that we really are. You know, in my life, I have a mentor who always tells me, like, she has been the one pushing me of late to write more. And she would always tell me, Buife, you're a fantastic writer. I just wish you know how good you are. I just wish you know how good you are. And it was because of that consistent mentioning and consistent reminders that you are good at writing, you are exceptional. There was a day she got a job for me, and she told me about this, and I was like, I don't think I have the time right now to do that job, or to do this job. And I gave the excuse of time, but the truth was, I was questioning my competence with regard to doing that job. And because I didn't want to disappoint her, should I not do it well, I told her that I didn't have time. And she said, okay. Then after like 5 minutes, she called me back and she said, Buife, you know what? This money has your name written on it. So you're going to take this job and you're going to find time and do this job. I wrote that article in 2 days, and the person that I wrote it for was really happy with how it turned out. So those are the primary reason is the mindset issue. If we can just get to know right here, begin to see ourselves differently from our mind, then a lot of other things are going to begin to shift for us.
Wow, this is really an eye-opener. I think we really need to, I think, you know, when they said that the mind is a battlefield, a lot of battles are won or lost in the mind. And that's why we need to guard our hearts, you know, and just guard what goes into our mind, really, because that's what, affects or comes out, influences our actions, you know, and it, you know, kind of like influences our future as well. Wow. Okay, so but how should we begin this journey, you know, because everything is in the mind right now, you know, so I mean, our work is in our mind, and really what it is, whatever value you place on yourself is actually what value you are actually at that point in time. So how do we begin this journey? How do we begin this journey? What kind of steps or strategies should we adopt, you know, to begin to value ourselves right?
Okay, so the first thing that I always recommend is, first of all, start from a place of awareness.
Okay.
Have like a sit down moment with yourself where you have a pen and a writing pad, and you want to just figure out how you think about yourself. And I always do this by, okay, so the first thing that I believe we can start, I always recommend women start from is becoming aware of how we currently think about ourselves.
Yeah.
Because self-awareness is key. When you understand how you currently think about yourself, then then it is easier to begin the journey of changing that mindset. And so what I often recommend here is, as you look at yourself, you can look at yourself as a mom, as a wife, as a career woman, as a business owner, as a manager. How do you currently see yourself? And I start from the area of your goals and what you would really want to get out
Mm.
of what you're doing. So you're at work and you would really want to have more connections, or you'd really want to have more sales in your business, or you want to build and you want to gain connections with higher profile people. Then one of the questions you can ask yourself is, why am I not currently doing that? Why am I not currently making sales? What has been the reason that I am currently in the place that I am right now? And
Mm.
when you have your pen and your writing pad and you're being honest with yourself, you write those reasons down. Why haven't I been making as much sales as I would want? You put the reason down, and then you ask yourself, why is that reason that you put down? What is the reason for that reason?
Mm.
So
Mm.
because sometimes we give ourselves reasons to justify the actions that we currently are taking or the results that we currently have.
Yeah.
So for instance, I remember there was a time, I think 2 years ago, I wasn't really making as much sales as I would want. And I had to ask myself, what was the problem? So I wrote down that the problem was I wasn't having enough people coming to me to even inquire about my business.
Mm.
And the second issue I found out was that I wasn't marketing enough. And not just I was not marketing, the little marketing that I did, I was marketing to people who didn't have the financial capacity to buy what I was selling. So I then asked myself, why do I market to this group of people? Why do I not market to the people who have the financial capacity to buy what I'm selling and who actually need what I'm selling? And I realized that my issue was that I didn't feel like I had what it takes to be able to serve those level of people. So in my mind, I
Okay.
was marketing to people that need the service but do not have the financial backup, because in my mind I felt these were the group of people that I was qualified to do business with. And when I figured that out, I then asked myself, why do I think that I am inferior to this group of people? You see what was happening here? So I was questioning myself. I was questioning the things I have always believed. And it's really
Mm-hmm.
key. It's really key. Sometimes you may need to do it with a coach. Sometimes you may need to do it on your own, but it is very important that you do it. If you're not earning as much as you know you are supposed to be earning at work, ask yourself why. Sometimes you say it's because the boss is a bad guy, or the boss is not so forthcoming with increments in salary and all of that. But the question is, have you asked the boss? And have you asked him in a way that would compel him or persuade him to give you that raise that you know that you are qualified to have? And when you're asking, how do you ask? You know, I one of my primary and foundational precepts in life come from the scriptures. And in the book of James says that you don't have because you don't ask.
Ask.
And when you ask, you don't have because you ask amiss. So when you are asking, is very important that you ask yourself how you are asking. How am I asking? Recently, I released a course and I was charging 2K for that course. And I was, even though the price was 2K, I was still giving it out as that you could get it at 1K if you were the first 10. And by the time 5 people paid for the course, I was like, hold on, what is going on right now? I had to increase the fee, even though I hadn't gotten the first 10 people I said I was waiting to get. I increased the fee to 2K and made the overall fee 5K. But I just had a shift in my mindset. I sat myself down and I asked myself, if people at the end of this masterclass that I'm hosting, what are the people going to benefit from it? And what is that result going to look like for them? If they're able to do, if they learn to do this, I want to teach them how to do. How is that going to change their lives and their businesses or careers? How is that going to elevate their perception in the marketplace?
Yeah.
And I noticed that the value I was bringing there was huge. So I had to increase the figure, the investment they had to make to gain that. So it's important that you are aware, that we become aware of how we currently think. And the other thing that I would also suggest is that I also recommend is take a stock of what you have and what you are good at. Most times when we fail to know our worth or to project our worth, is often because that we don't really know what we are worth. We don't really know what we are worth. And so because we don't know, we don't project the right worth in the marketplace. So I'd like to recommend, take stock of how you're worth. Sit down with yourself, ask yourself, what am I good at? What are the skills that I have? What are the experiences that I've had? I've had over 10 years doing this. I've had over 15 years doing this. I've worked with social groups of people. I've done this project. I've done that project. Take stock. Then what are the things that people often reach out to you to help them to do? Whether they pay you or not, what are those things that family members call you? Hey, can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? Yes. People often call me, can you help me write this? Can you help me write that?
You do for free,
can you help
right?
me put this together? Can you help me put that together? Can you help me do that? And there was this day that someone called me and said, Buife, I need somebody to work for me. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, I wanted to tell him that, I don't really know anybody. But the Holy Spirit just told me, are you sure you don't really know anybody? So I told him, you know what, I'll get back to you. And when I dropped the call, I was like, okay, Lord, what was that all about? And he brought to my consciousness, I speak to over 2,000 core members every time there's an orientation in camp, over 2,000 of them. And I give out my contact. I have a group where I have some of them and I continue to train them on WhatsApp. So I have people. So what was the issue? The issue was that I didn't want a situation where I would bring somebody in who wouldn't meet up to this guy's
standard
desire or what he was looking for in a worker. And if that doesn't happen, if that happens, then it's my fault, right? So I didn't want that situation where I failed as a headhunter. You see? But if people are calling you and asking you to help them in that regard, then it tells you that you're good at it. Because I won't call you Ivy to do something that I know you're not good at.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So absolutely. You wouldn't have me here to talk about working women know your worth if you believe that I wouldn't do justice to that. Right. So if people are calling you to talk about this, to help them write something or to give them idea about how they can strategize or push their own team forward, or your boss is always giving you leadership assignments like you're going to of this, I want you to be in charge of that, but he's not really paying you for it. He's just often putting you in charge of projects and in charge of teams. You should put that down. That is going to help you to see what you're really good at. Okay. And then also think about the other things that you've done, the projects that you've carried out. When I was struggling with self-doubt with regard to writing a book, I had to go back to articles that I wrote in 2014. And by the time I read those articles, I was like, hold on, did I really write these things? And then I read the comments from people all over the world, because my issue had always been, I know that my writing was good enough for Nigerians, but my desire was to write for a global audience. But then I had the doubt that, okay, I'm good for Nigerians, but I don't really think I'm good enough for non-Nigerians and the global audience.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go back to the articles I wrote in 2014, when I had like 95% American, British audiences. I had just about 5% Nigerians who were reading my content. And I read the comments that those people wrote, and it just poured up confidence in me that I actually have what it takes to write what a global audience can benefit or find value in. So it's important that you take note of all those things, of your talents, even the ones that you are yet to develop, the ones you use at work, and the ones that you don't use at work too. So you write all of those things down, and I like to probably design it on PowerPoint, and then print it on an A4 sheet of paper and paste somewhere you can always see every day. Because you need to remind yourself, it's a way of reprogramming your mind.
Absolutely.
Like you said, Ivy, it's about the things that you put in. It's about the information you consume. It's about the messaging that you receive into your subliminal mind that determines how you project yourself and how you present yourself in the marketplace. So you want reminders, constant reminders that you really got this. So those are the two key ways that we can actually start from. And then the third thing I will quickly ask is, whenever you get into the work environment, whether you're a businesswoman or a 9-to-5 woman, always ask you, by the time you dress up, ask yourself, how am I dressed right now? Am I looking like, I always do this ShopRite, and ShopRite, a big mall, and the local markets, example. So I would always ask, how do you see yourself? What is the state of mind that you are at that particular point? Do you see yourself as goods on a table in a local market, or do you see yourself as a product that is in a glass shelf in ShopRite? So think about how you're seeing yourself every moment. So how are you seeing yourself right now? Buife, how do you think about yourself right now that you are on an interview call with Ivy? And when you have decided how you're thinking about yourself at that moment, 10 times that feeling. Multiply how you currently feel by 10. If you're feeling like a manager, multiply it by 10, so that, because by the time you multiply it by 10, that is where you really are in your mind. That is really where you are in reality. But your mind is playing tricks on you and making you to lower your levels. So when you're getting into a boardroom, how do you think about yourself? How are you currently thinking about yourself? When you're going to meet somebody, or you're even going to speak to the people that are your subordinates, how are you thinking about yourself at that moment? Are you seeing them as your children at home that you have to really pamper, or you're seeing them as people that you work with that you need to get them to bring in the results? So how do you see every moment in time? Always ask yourself that question. And when you multiply that way that you should think about yourself by 10, the other thing that you do is to adjust your physical presence so that it matches that person. Right? So how would that person stand, for instance? How would that person walk into the boardroom? How would that person sit on the table? How would they address the team? What would they say to them? How would they say it? Make that physical adjustments to match who you're seeing in your mind at the time that you have made the mental readjustment, and multiply that by 10. And you're going to see yourself pushing in differently and projecting a presence that says, hey, let's give this woman the job because she has what it takes.
You know what? You've mentioned some very, very important things that I think that we need to, and really, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he, and this, I mean, everything starts from your thinking. Everything starts from your thinking. How you think about yourself is how you will project yourself. you know. And
True.
also, I also am strong about the law of attraction. I really believe in that. And I believe that if
Mm-hmm.
you think that you're not worth something, then you really are not worth it. If you, and you would
Yeah.
attract things or people or opportunities that are also not worth it. So it starts with our thinking. Wow,
Yeah.
ladies, this is like some serious, you know, there's something she mentioned about reprogramming, and it's so important. There are actionable steps that you have to take to reprogram yourself. And it starts here, reprogramming. You know, so if you're not taking notes, you really need to go back and watch this so that you can take those notes, okay? All right, so I have questions for you, Buife. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number two now is this is another thing that I've observed in women. Okay, so I've also been, you know, through that as well in my growth journey. Now,
Mm-hmm.
we never speak sometimes in meetings, you know, so you're in a meeting with several people. Some women just would rather not speak. And if they should
Yeah.
actually speak, they actually find it difficult getting themselves heard. So their voices are actually like whispers, or you can see their body language is that of fear, you know, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't want to talk. And by the time you take them, you know, take them away after the meeting, I mean, I've had that. I go and I speak with them. I'm like, okay, so what do you think about this issue? My God, I'm like blown away. There's so much intelligence in that woman. You know, there's in-depth knowledge of the issue that we were discussing, that if she has shared, you know, would have brought another perspective to the discourse, right? So my question now is,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know, you know, one of the hurdles could be on an unhealthy self-esteem, which you've talked about, right? But then are there other
Yeah.
hurdles, you know, and what strategies can we mentally apply? You know, so apart from, you know, having a reprogramming structure and system, which you've talked about, how else?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes people may not, you know, taking that step to intentionally begin to reprogram myself might be very difficult. What other
Mm-hmm.
strategies can they apply? Okay, what other strategies
Yeah.
can they apply?
I had it in my mind when you talked about when you shared the whole meeting scenario, because that used to be me. It used to be me, like I would have an idea to share during a
Mhm,
meeting, and in my mind I'm like, what if it doesn't come out right? What if they don't like it? What if it's the dumbest thing that anybody would have ever said? And
mhm,
but as I'm still processing those what ifs, somebody else raises their hand, and he or she, most times he, is asked to share the opinion they have. And the person says the same thing that I have in my mind.
oh my gosh, you see, it
You
happens
see?
a lot.
And guess what? Not just that they say it, but it is accepted. It is seen as a brilliant idea. And I then go home feeling frustrated, feeling sad, disappointed in myself, and
Mhm.
just hating on me. Like, what is wrong with you? Why couldn't you just open your mouth and speak? And I don't know if you have noticed, Ivy, on my posts, I always end them with Buife speaks, get seen, get heard, makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yes.
It's always there on my post. Get seen, get heard, make sense. Because I really believe in those three things. When
Mhm.
we talk about knowing your worth, the next step to knowing your worth is projecting your worth.
To
You want
project.
other people to know your worth as well. So it's
Mhm.
not enough that you know it, you want other people to know it. And when I started working on myself and being able to share my ideas, some of the strategies that I came up with are: one, when I have an idea, I count up to three and I speak up. I don't try to argue with myself about how good or how horrible that idea is going to come out to be. I just share it. If they think it's good, awesome. If they think it's horrible, awesome too. Because now I get to know. I get to know what they think. It's no longer in
And,
my
al-
head.
and
I'm no longer arguing by myself alone, right?
yes,
So I just
and
like,
also you've grown, and also
mm-hmm,
you've grown, you know, in that
yeah.
little moment.
that little moment, you've known what works, what the next time, how you're going to say it, and also the confidence. So I said it the last time, I can say it again, right? So that was the first I started doing. Then the second thing was, anytime the floor was thrown open, I'm going first. Because the other reason why people don't speak up, especially women don't speak up during meetings, is they think, Obi has said what I wanted to say. John has said what I would have loved to say. And they don't say it. So to overcome that excuse, or to do away with that excuse, I came up with a strategy of going first. So once they say, who has anything to contribute, who has anything to add, I have something, darling. So I go first. The other thing that you can do is to, when you know that there's going to be a meeting, right? When you know there's going to be a meeting, one of the things I advise my clients is, what is the agenda for that meeting? What is going to be talked about in that meeting? You have to do your own meeting first. Have a meeting with yourself with those same agendas. So you want to think about what are some ideas that you can share in regarding each of these agendas, right? What are the things that you can contribute? And then you make your points with your pen and your paper. You write down ideas that you believe are good enough to share at that meeting. Okay, so when you go, you have your paper with you, or your speaking points with you on your jotter or journal. And when you're now called upon to speak, or when the floor is thrown open, the excuse that I don't know how I'm going to put these things, or I've forgotten what I would have loved to say. It's also done away with, because now you have your outline right in front of you. You have your speaking points right in front of you, and you can go out and look at them. And then when you look at the points, the entire idea opens up in your mind, and then you can speak. Yeah, and then you can speak. There are so many techniques that you can use. I also have one about saying, sometimes you don't need to really contribute a new idea to the meeting, because sometimes what you really would want to say may not necessarily add anything to what has been said already. But what you can do is to be present in the meeting. Be present in the meeting. So instead of staying behind or at the rear where nobody can see you, put yourself in front. Stay close to the facilitator for that meeting. Stay close to them by their right hand side, where they can often, if they are going to point, they can easily look at you and point at you and ask you to make a contribution. So part of being present and projecting your worth is staying where you can be seen. Remember, get seen, get heard, make sense. So putting yourself where the other people can see and know that you were present in that meeting. So when your teammate gives an idea, you can contribute by saying, oh, I totally agree with this. I think this is going to work because A, B, C. And if you don't understand how it's going to work, you can also ask the question, throw the question at the person that brought up the idea. Hey, this is a fantastic idea, or this sounds like a brilliant idea. How do you suggest that we were able to carry them out?
Yeah.
So you may not necessarily always have to, you don't necessarily always have to have a new idea to contribute. You can just ask people to explain what they have contributed, their own idea, explain it more, talk about it more, or just give them a thumbs up. Hey, I think this is really nice. So if someone says something nice, don't wait for Emeka to also tell John that he was right. Be the person that tells John, hey, I think this is really nice. It shows that you also have the ability to recognize a fantastic idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then the other point that I always share is, know that you all are working as a team. There's no you are wrong, we are right. If you are wrong, we are all wrong. If you are right, we are all right. So your contribution is not about you. It's about helping your team to win.
Exactly.
It's about helping your team to win. So if what I have in my mind is going to help my team to win, then it's my responsibility to share it with them.
Yes, I really like what you just shared now, and I'll just bring a little I'm just going to sidestep a little and bring a new perspective, right? So I'm really not a football fan, but I think my greatest, one of the players that really got my attention in football is Ronaldo. And why? Because I'm a leader, and also, I have I lead teams. And one thing I observed is that most times when you're watching football, people are always angling to score, right? Because the more you score, it counts for you. But what I observed about Ronaldo, which was, several years back, was that he would actually, he would have an opportunity to score, but he calculates. And now he says, you know what, it might be a 50-50 chance. It's not just about me, it's about my team. And he would pass the ball to the next person who he knows had 100% chance to score. And that person always used to score. So I learned a lot from team playing just by watching. And in the end, he would actually end up being the star.
Yeah. Just everybody gets to like him.
Exactly. Just because he recognized that it's not about me, it's about us, the interest of the team. Yes, I really like that. That's a very important thing, and that also helps you when you are also giving thumbs up to someone and commending the idea. You find that your value for yourself, it actually increases as well. It has an effect, yes, on you. Yes, amazing. Oh my God, this is like really, ladies, I hope you're listening, Okay, Buife has been sharing steps, as in practicable steps on how to build your worth in the workplace and even to know your worth as well. Okay, so I have another question for you. Now, and this is another serious area, it gets me, because it's not just affecting me, it affects, other women as well. It is the women versus man at interview situation, right? So out of a list of 10 must-have requirements, that you're required to have for a job, right? You can imagine a man and a woman will go for an interview, okay? The man will have 2 of those, requirements ticked, right? While the woman will have 8. But what I noticed, and what I mean in discussions, even with, HR, professionals, there's something, the man always comes with this kind of confidence. So the woman has more experience, but the man who only has 2 has no confidence. More experience. So experience versus confidence is what we see at play at interviews. And most often times, right, the panelists at that interview would go, those interviews will actually, go with the guy just because of his confidence. Confidence is infectious, it attracts, it's like a magnet, right? So, how can we as women project ourselves with confidence at interviews? How can I know that I have just one requirement, but when I go in there, I can display, this attitude of I can do, and sway the panelists to actually take me for that job, just because I know that even when I get the job, I will be able to perform, because that's another thing again, right? Yeah, so, or do we need like to lift weights, or have a shot of tequila, before we go in? By the time you have a shot of tequila before you go in for an interview, you'll be drunk, right? So what should we do? What should we do?
As I would begin this by saying that I always see myself as someone who has a purpose. I always see myself as that person. I have a purpose. I have a reason for being. And the moment that anytime I remind myself of that, or anytime it is, my mind or the Holy Spirit brings it again to my consciousness, the way that I tackle things change. The way that I tackle things change. One thing that women are often afraid of is, what if I say I am all this and then I don't meet up? And the moment you start thinking about that, that is the moment you start forgetting about all the things you have done in the past. Those things I just said we should list and paste where we can see it. The moment you start thinking of failures, of not meeting up, of not impressing enough, then you're going to start shrinking. You're going to start hiding. And like you mentioned during the last question, you mentioned the way that we even speak. So I'm sharing something, but I'm quote unquote murmuring. I'm murmuring. I'm literally murmuring. I don't want you to hear me. I recently coached a woman, a lady, right? And when she talks, she does this when she talks. She has her hands, her fingers over her mouth as she talks. And it's hard to hear her. And for her, it may have said, oh, this is just a habit that I have. But as we worked, I helped her to realize that that habit is coming from a place of not wanting to be heard. Because you are afraid you make a mistake when you speak, and you don't want people to hear that mistake. Growing up, my cousins and my friends, our neighbors, all the kids we played around with, and they always tell me that there's a way that I work. That when I walk, I walk so calmly, like I don't want to injure the ground that I'm walking on. And then I always felt that they were crazy because what are you talking about? Do you want me to stop my feet like when I walk? Yeah. But it was a subconscious action that came from a place of not wanting to be seen. I remember growing up, once my parents sent me on an errand, I would often feel like everybody on the street leave what they are doing and they are all focused on me. And as I'm walking, I could feel their eyes on me. And I remember that my elder sister, she's like the extroverted, friendly, outgoing one. So my mom, she had this thing that she had this plan for the two of us. Like, you go to the market today. I go to the market today. My sister cooks. Tomorrow, the next time we have to cook, my sister goes to the market. I cook.
Then you cook.
And I remember then my sister and I, since she was the outgoing one and I was like the one that doesn't want to be seen, we would always strike a battle. Like, okay, it's my turn to go out today, but go out and then go buy the stuff and let me cook. So I would always choose to cook while she goes to buy. And that not wanting to be seen affected the way that affected my gait, right? So by the time I decided I wanted to be seen as a confident person, remember, I had shifted from wanting to become confident to now wanting to be seen as confident.
As confident, yes.
So what I now started asking myself was, how does a confident person act? How do they carry themselves, right? And one thing that I changed about that was the way that when I'm working, I just, when you have this lead female CIA agent in a movie, they're
always so confident, right?
So confident, so like, you need to get out of my way or I'm running you down.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I would picture in my mind how they work or how a model on a runway works. And that is how I would carry myself as I work. And with time, it has become like a habit. Sometimes when I pass a car or a mirror and I try to look at myself to see how I'm holding up myself, and I would quickly make the adjustments.
You've got to be holding myself.
Yeah, I would make the adjustment, because what people don't see that you are afraid. People don't see that you doubt yourself. People don't see that you're worried you might not meet up. What people see are the actions that you're giving up. It is
the body language. The body language, yes.
That you're giving up. So they are looking at how you're sitting on one corner of the chair. They're looking at how you're not being audible with your answers, how you're looking down when you answer, or how your when they ask you a question, you just give a one-liner answer, a yes or no, no reason, just yes or no. You know, that is what people see. They don't see your beating heart. They don't see that your stomach feels empty and dry. All they're focused on is what they can see. So if you can just make the shift in your body language, if you can just adjust how you're standing, how you're sitting, and even maintaining eye contact with the person that you're speaking with. You know, my principal told me something in secondary school. I had an issue where two senior students fought over my electric iron, and it was against the school rules at that time to have an electric iron. So they fought over mine, and our house mistress had to know I had that, and she seized it and gave it to the principal. So by the time the principal called me and asked me, why do you have an electric iron? I told her a plain white lie.
What was that? What was that like? Because I can't imagine what would have gotten you out of that spot.
It wasn't really a 100% lie,
Yeah.
but I told her, you know, my dad saw my uniform, and he saw that it was burnt somewhere, and he was like, what happened to it? As he was just driving me back to school, because I was a boarding student, he saw the iron burn, and I told him it was an iron that did that. So he was like, oh, you're allowed to have iron in schools? And I said yes. I said yes because we are allowed to have charcoal irons. And it was a charcoal iron that burnt my dress. So I felt that he noticed that. So by the next visiting day, my sister who visited me brought me a brand new iron, electric iron. I saw it then. I could have just given it back to her and told her, no, this is not what we are allowed to use. We're allowed to use charcoal. I was like, taking my stuff. Who has time for charcoal iron? So what I told my principal was that I didn't see the iron until they were gone, and I just was waiting till the end of the term, which was close by, and then I can return it. But when I was answering her, I was looking her straight in the eyes. I don't even know what happened to me that day, because I was usually the shy, quiet, reserved, afraid one.
Your alter ego came out. Your alter ego.
And at the end of that answer, you know what this woman said to me? She said, I'm going to believe you. No, she said, I believe you because you don't have shifty eyes. And shifty eyes is like you're talking, but you're not.
Yeah, that means you're not telling the truth.
Avoid the person's eye contact. And she said, that's the only reason I believe you, because you don't have shifty eyes. And that registers something in my mind. Eye contact. So it just make those little tweaks and focus on those write-ups on your wall, those things you see that are good about you. I also often suggest shifting into a person. Like for me, I shift into a CIA agent, a lead CIA agent, or I shift into one of the women I shift into now is Olivia Pope. I don't know if you've seen Scandal. I shift into Olivia. You know, she comes in and you just have to give way, even though she's one small, tiny African American woman. But the way that she even walks and her straight face, you just have to make way, right? And so you just find someone that you can, in your mind, mentally shift into that person until you become your own confident woman. And also thinking about who you want to become. I want to be the CEO. I want to be the branch manager at this other branch. I want to be. So if you are the branch manager, how would you walk? How would you step into a room? Adjust your body language to suit that person that you see. And that is really going to change a lot of things. When I teach people how to overcome stage fright, I really come from this is one of the angles I come from. After I have helped them to understand why they are even afraid, like we talked about earlier, I help them to just make adjustments in the way that you carry yourself. And the other thing about making that adjustment is that it begins to change the way that you feel about yourself. It begins to change that. You actually start feeling good. You start, just by changing the way you walk, you automatically feel powerful.
Yeah.
You walk into the room, you sit down and you take up all the space. I am kind of, okay, I don't think I'm still as slim as I used to be, but when I was a bit slimmer than this, when I come on a seat and I sit down, I like to place my arms on the armchair, if there are arms here. I just like to, even though my butt will not cover the whole seat, I just like to take as much space. I try to take as much space as I can, because I was really slim, and really you can easily pass me by and not notice me. Which brings me to another idea that I will just drop there. What you wear also helps. The outfit you wear also helps. So I really believe in being intentionally visible. You have to really intentionally put yourself where people can see you. Sometimes we want to be humble and we're like, okay, let me just stay here and then hope they call me. But no, you have to move out and literally put yourself in people's faces. Hey, see me, like that advert on one of these Chivita juices. Pick me. The tiny orange was like, pick me. But you really have to put yourself where people can see you. And that can mean your wardrobe, what you wear. It can just mean, instead of wearing a black suit to an interview, you wear a blue one, a navy blue one. Yeah, you wear one of the other things you can do, you do a makeup that is just so unique to you, right?
Very key.
And depending on the position you are, you can just put on a little bit of jewelry that just makes you stand out and adds that extra oomph to how you are, literally.
Exactly.
You want people to say, yeah, the lady that was on a navy blue suit, or the navy that was wearing that, or the lady that wore this. It doesn't have to mean that your appearance should overtake you and the value that you can bring to the table, but just using it as a tool or a tactic for being more visible and appearing more confident. And when you look good, Ivy, you automatically feel good. And when you feel good, when you feel good, you project that energy. I say that confidence is a transference of feeling. So you project that energy that makes people just want to. That's why they hire men who are more confident, because even if you cannot do it, you have a can-do spirit. That is what confidence is. I can learn how to do it. I can be able to do it if I put my heart to it. And people prefer being around someone that thinks like that than someone that thinks, oh, I may not be able to do that. Because even if we ask you to do it, even if we give you the platform and the tools, you may not be able to do that. And we don't want someone who may not be able to do that. We want someone who can really show up.
And yes, who can show up confidently.
Learn it and take action when action is required of you. So just making those little changes can really go a long way.
Wow. That, I mean, there's so much. This confidence thing is an intentional and strategic
it is.
Effort that every woman has to take. Sometimes you may actually be confident, right? But you might need a reminder, of your confidence, because one or two things can happen at work, which even leads me to my next question, right? Okay, so we're beginning to see women venture into fields that have been dominated by the men, right? For years, and so you find certain, job functions or certain departments, you can go there and you just see one woman. She's the lone ranger, among a team of males, right? And the truth is, it could be very awkward. It could be overwhelming sometimes to be in an office space where you're going to spend, I mean, like 12 hours in your day and all you're seeing is guys. And you know, women, I mean, we have to face the truth. The boys' club is really real. So, I mean, men can easily just have their banter, go out, have drinks after work. It's sometimes it's a bit tough for the women to do so. I know some women who hold their own, but most women can't really, I mean, they won't even want to go out. I mean, all night or from work, you just want to go and have a drink. I mean, women are not wired that way.
Yeah.
So what can women do to own their own spot in the team? Because, you know, once you don't, you know, there's one thing to be in the workplace and work together every day, but then we are human beings. And so we are human beings who build relationships as well. And those relationships can be built outside the workplace. So what can women do, right, to own their spot in the team?
Okay, so what I would share an experience. I currently have a team that I work with where I am the only female in that team.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. We are not there are not really much men. There are just like 4 of us in the team, and I'm the only female there. And I am like the second in hierarchy,
Yeah.
you know, in the team. And my 2 subordinates, 2 that are under me, are the guys. So literally you have them coming to work and they have their own little, just like you called it, a boys club. But you know, they just come in and they're discussing football, who played last night, did you watch it? And these guys can just go into just the first time in the morning. And for me, I understand football, but I'm not totally into it. The moment you find me totally into football is when Nigeria. But beyond that, I'm not like a football person. So, of course, there's that. And I remember one day I had this encounter where I asked one of them to do something, and he literally just said no. He didn't say the no by saying no, but he just didn't do it, right? So what I did was I also didn't do it as well. I just, you know, there are times where you say, okay, let me just do it so that it doesn't affect the bigger picture. But I was like, you paid for the job, so you might as well do the job. I'm not going to do your job for you. So one thing I would ask is, as a woman, if you find that you are in that environment, one thing that should always be priority for you is owning your professional role, so that you're not trying so much to be a friend that you lose your professional respect.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, it's going to matter in the work environment. Nobody is there primarily to build another family friendship. Let's get the job done, because when we're talking about jobs and getting promoted, it is often about the results that you're able to bring to the table. And so your first goal shouldn't be to become buddies. It should be to get the job done, to get everybody on the same page to get the job done. I remember one day, one of them said to me, because we're all young people, and one of them just jokingly said to me, you know, he was asking me to help him do something because he was fixing something up for me. And I felt what he was asking was just stupid. You know, you don't ask me to help you do what you can do because you're helping me do what only you can do and for which you were hired. So when he said, help me and do this because I'm helping you to do, I was like, no, I'm not going to do that for you. When you're done fixing this, you go ahead and do your work. And he jokingly said, oh, don't be stubborn.
You're joking. Don't be stubborn.
I snapped. He was shocked. I believe he felt maybe he has said that to a lot of girls and a lot of ladies, and they were cool with that. I could be cool with that if you were my friend saying that we were gisting outside of work and you tell me don't be stubborn.
I can't
Tell
hold
me
you
don't be
down.
stubborn in the work environment. So I was like, no, you don't get to say that. You don't get to say that, and you don't. He was like, oh, just joke. I said, don't joke like that. Don't joke with me like that. Don't joke here like that. And so that was the first thing. If I wanted to be his friend, I would have taken that as a joke. Oh, I'm not trying to be stubborn. No, no. Let's keep that respect there, and then we can walk around that. People, John C. Maxwell, he said something. His book, he quoted a poet who wrote a quote that goes like this: that producers love producers. And in his book, The 5 Levels of Leadership, the first one is position, the second one is permission, the third one is production. So people follow you if they see that you have what it takes, right?
Yes.
So around us, we're now like having those moments where it was just then the boys against me, the girl, and I didn't mind. As long as we come to work and we do our jobs, we can work towards becoming friends at the end of the day. And when you have established that, friendship is really a matter of how friendly you are as a person, how friendly you are. And there were times that he felt I would have carried that, oh, you called me stubborn and I got mad. Once I told him I don't ever do that anymore, that was where it ended. It ended at that place. There was no like recurrent mentioning of that.
Exactly. Because
there was no also like, a recurrent, not mentioning it vocally, but in my actions towards him, there wasn't that as well. Because we're here to work and we want to be in good terms with each other. And I make sure that they know that, right? I remember the Christmas after that incident happened, he was like, hey, we are going on Christmas break. You're going to do Christmas for the boys, right? Since considering the hierarchy. I was like, oh yeah, cool, no problems. And he was shocked when I actually kept up with my promise of doing Christmas for the two of them. That's really what friendship is, as long as work is concerned. And if you want to have like a get together, also think about it as not just about being friends and building your social network, but also building your professional network. You can lead the way and say, hey, why don't we have a get together on Sunday, on so day, we can do this, we can do that. And you just literally be the one. You can offer to cook. You can offer to invite them to your home, depending on the environment you work in, you can invite them to your home.
It's all about strategy.
Invite them somewhere and cook for them, or get someone to bake something so that you guys can just hang out and talk about things beyond your work environment. Some people have investment opportunities that they are aware of that you're not aware of. And those things can be shared in a less professional environment. So you can just lead that and be the person that provides that platform where people can literally like come up and share and be happy around each other without having to deal with the pressures of work. So that is also a strategy for elevating your professional network, because then your colleagues are going to start seeing you beyond just work, but also because you're bringing an environment where they can share about what their challenges are, share about what they are doing beyond just work, what are their goals and how they are working towards it, share about something that you read on Instagram that you feel they should be aware of or that they should know about. Share it. Friendship is really about you being friendly and you being willing to share your knowledge. Like at work, I would teach those guys then, I would teach them presentation skills. I would teach them I would ask them questions like, where do you see yourself in 5 years time? Where do you see yourself in 10 years time? And I would actually give them ideas on how they can start working towards that. So it's not just about the work that we come to do. I'm also concerned about where you hope to end up. And that is the permission level of leadership. where you're helping people see that you actually care about them. That it's not just that, hey, I'm superior, that's why you have to listen to me. No, I want you to listen to me because I also listen to you. I'm doing my best to understand where you are and where you hope to get to.
Amazing. You know, from what I hear, with everything you've shared, you know, one thing that keeps on resounding is value. Value. You must know your value.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
must project your value. And then you must always uphold your value at all times. And this is something, you must even believe in your value.
Yeah.
I think that's even a very important thing, because you know, you may know your value, you may project it, but do you believe in your value? Oh my word, this is, ladies, this is amazing. This has been an amazing session. We've come to the end of this session. And like we always do you have any inspirational words, you know, for our women? Because I know a lot of women are struggling with this confidence and self-esteem issue, you know, and it's because it's been a rut in the system, you know, that we find ourselves in, you know. So yeah, and sometimes you find it so difficult to even find your way out of it, to, you know, to get out of it. You know, you just end up just accepting it, and then you're miserable every single day. So what inspirational words do you want to share with our ladies before the end? Well, yeah.
The inspirational word that I would share with ladies is ladies. There is a scripture that I love so much, and that scripture is Proverbs 31 verse 10. And in that scripture, the Bible says that a capable, intelligent woman is hard to find. It is difficult to find. That's what virtuous mean. Capable and intelligent woman is difficult to find. And I want you to always remember that and see yourself in that light. Most people feel that a woman is in the kitchen, in but the one who created you feels and knows otherwise. And he says that as an intelligent and capable woman, that there are just a few of you, a few of your kind. So when you walk into an environment, see yourself as that unique person that you are. Yeah, you're part of a unique tribe. You're part of a unique group of women who are intelligent, who are capable of living out of adding value to the lives around them and the organization they work for. That notion of you are unique, you are unique, you are different. The difference is good. That being different is good, is what you should always remind yourself. Is what you should always remind yourself. Focus more on instead of trying to comparing yourself to other people and feeling, oh, I don't sound like you.
I lost you. I think the internet connection. You said we should focus more on what?
You have going for you and what you have not going for you.
Okay.
Yeah, so focus on those things that are working and try to build them up more. What are you good at? What are you naturally good at? Build more on that.
Yeah.
Build more on that.
Yeah.
And the parts where you're not so good, if it's really necessary for you to get good at those places, then work on getting better and have the ideology that I can learn anything. I can learn anything. I can learn anything. I can improve on anything. If you don't want to improve on something, or if you don't want to learn how to do something, it shouldn't be a matter of I cannot learn it. It should be a matter of I choose not to learn it.
To learn. Wow, amazing.
So always focus on what you have going for you and continue to build on that. And every chance you get, let people know that you are good, especially work environment. Let people know. Don't wait for them to come find you. Let them know. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, let them know, let them know. That comes with projecting your
Yeah.
value. Oh my word, ladies, this has been a treasure of a session we just had with Buife. Um, like I always say, I hope you're taking your notes because, and of course, you can always come back to watch because that's important. There's some things you may have missed out. These are lessons, that, to help you grow. Thank you so much. And of course, if you want any coaching session on your presentation and building your confidence, Buife is your girl. So you can go right to her, reach out to her, and she would, hook you up, what you need to know. Okay, so everyone, thank you so much. Buife, thank you again for coming on this show. It's been wonderful having you. I have also learned some amazing things.
Can I just share briefly?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to quickly mention, if you have, for the ladies that would watch or that are watching, if you struggle with stage fright and being afraid of speaking of jury meetings, I actually have a book that I just released. It's called Your Complete Guide to Beat Stage Fright for Good.
Yes, you do.
If you need help overcoming stage fright and the fear of speaking, you should definitely get that book. And I can tell you that it's possible for you because I used to be not so outspoken. And I can tell you how much trajectory I've experienced in my career as a result of just having that confidence to share my ideas and the things that I'm good at. Yeah. So you should definitely check that book out. You can always check me out on Instagram, and the link to get a copy is on my bio.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that, Buife. It slipped my mind. So, ladies, one important thing, there's say leaders are readers, or is it readers are leaders? You need to also read. I always say reading is important because you're having another perspective of someone who's been on that path, on that journey before you, and the person can help. Reading opens up your mind and helps you to grow. So if you believe, that deep down you have fears, just reach out. That book is, I've not read it, but I'm sure you've already heard her. She's amazing. I don't have stage fright. I'm already there. But, you've heard her speak. You've heard her thoughts. She knows her work. She knows what she's doing. So please buy that book and grow. Grow and own your voice. Grow and know your worth. Okay? Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Buife.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ivy, for having me. I enjoyed every session. I enjoyed every session.
Such a pleasure. Thank you so much. All right. Bye.